Santham Academy. Welcome to Digital Kaksha. To get updates on new videos, click the subscribe button and the bell icon.
Good morning students. Welcome back to our e-learning class. We have studied up till now the chapter 3 of our political science. We are going through the 4th chapter now, that is alternative centers of powers. In this chapter we have studied in the previous class the Union of European Nations, that is European Union, the EU. We have studied its powers, its relevance in the world. Now we will study another association, another union which is working in the Asian region, that is ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. We call it in short as ASEAN. Why it has been incorporated, why it has been organized into a block of nations or union of nations, what was the need arising, this we will study in the beginning. Can you recall what all countries lies to the Southeast Asia? These are those countries which are to the southeast of India also. Whatever countries are to the southeast of India, they are the southeast countries of Asia, because India lies in the central and southern part of Asia. Okay. To the west lies Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran. Okay. But to the east lies Myanmar, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Philippines. All these countries lies to the west and southwest of India. All these countries lies to the southeast of India. So here we are to study the Southeast Asian countries and the association formed by them. These countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, all these countries have joined together to form the Southeast Asian, that is Southeast Asian Association of these nations. This region suffered severe economic crisis due to colonization. Most of these countries were colonized by the European countries, so they were economically exploited very much. After colonization, these countries faced the problem of economic backwardness, poverty and undernourishment, so they need to together develop themselves. There was a pressure during the Cold War years to align with any of the power blocks. There was a pressure to align and help during such crisis. But during those days, under the leadership of India, we have started the non-aligned movement. But this non-aligned movement was also not that much successful in the long run in bringing cooperation and nation building around those times. So there was a very severe question of nation building. So then these nations together decided to form an association, so that being together they can be a little powerful also, and they can protect their security, and there can be healthy economic cooperation among them. Now students, let us study the way of working of ASEAN nations or this association collectively. ASEAN has a different way of organizing and functioning. Its principles are a little different from that of the European Union. ASEAN does not desire for any supranational structure as against European Union. European Union has formed itself on the lines of a nation. You can say a super nation was created. European Union was having its own national anthem, its own currency. So in these different ways, it made an association in such a way that it was like a super nation. But here the regional autonomy, the regional culture and the regional sovereignty was respected. There was no restriction to follow any uniform policies and programs. And that way of functioning is popularly known as the ASEAN way. The famous ASEAN way, a form of interaction which is informal, non-confrontationist and cooperative. That means there is not any formal association as a nation state. Okay, as European Union is formed as a nation, super nation, they don't believe in that way of formation. They don't have any national anthem, no national flag, no formal date of formation being celebrated, no common currency. So no formality is there. Thus, the member countries are liberal, they are free to practice their own currency, their own culture, their own religious diversity, regional diversity, occupational diversity, habits, patterns of food and clothing and all those diversities they are free to practice, and they have their own currency, they have their own way of trade. It was just for a cooperation. Okay. So, it also respect the sovereignty of each nation. There won't be any interference in the internal working of the country. Countries will decide on their own. There won't be any collective decision making and which is rigidly being imposed on all the members. Such system is not there. So in all, it is a informal and cooperative and facilitative system, not a controlling system but a facilitative system. That way it was different from the European Union. In 2003, ASEAN established communities. Okay, it has established community with its three pillars, the very famous three pillars of ASEAN community. One is the ASEAN Security Community, responsible for security and safety and peace of a country from outside forces. Then other is the ASEAN Economic Community, which would look into the economic matters, trade related matters, trade and cooperation, sale and purchase, goods, technology, transfer, all these matters will be dealt with by the economic community. There is another community named as ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. ASEAN Social Cultural Community will look into the matters of social well-being, cultural refinement and the community betterment. So this is more of the social aspect of the way of life. These are the three communities of ASEAN. Now students, come to the formation and what objectives of the formation of ASEAN was there. How ASEAN was formed with all member countries and what was the intention, what was the objective behind its formation. In 1967, in the Bangkok Declaration, that declaration was regarding the formation. In the Bangkok Declaration, 5 member countries, they have together decided to form ASEAN. What were these 5 countries? Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. I repeat, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. These were the 5 members who for the first time formed the ASEAN Association. Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Now, what were the objectives? Why at all there was a need to form this organization? The objective was to accelerate economic growth, to bring social progress in the region, and for cultural development of that region. Because in all these spheres of life, they were a little backward. So they need to improve their condition in economic terms, in social terms, and in cultural terms also. The secondary objective was to promote regional peace and cooperation and stability. In the region, there is peace, there is no dispute, there is a healthy cooperation, there is free trade, easy trade among them, and there is political stability. There is no threat of each other being attacked. These were the objectives. Now, how these objectives were to be fulfilled? What principles it has to work on to fulfill these objectives? Working principles of ASEAN was a little different from that of the European Union. It worked on the principles of UN Charter. ASEAN works on peace and cooperation, rule of law, and all those principles which are prescribed by the United Nations Convention. Later on, new members also joined this organization. Some new members like Brunei Darussalam, Vietnam, Laopedia, that means the part of Laos which is called as People's Democratic Republic. So Laos, People's Democratic Republic. Then Myanmar, Cambodia, all these nations also later on joined, and now by this time, now the total membership of ASEAN has increased to 10 members. 10 member countries are now the part of ASEAN. Now students, let us study the achievements of ASEAN. ASEAN nations, they have agreed that the territorial disputes, whatever disputes they are having among themselves as neighboring countries regarding their territorial boundaries, such disputes arising is common in almost all the countries which are near to each other. We have disputes with Pakistan, we have disputes with China, we have disputes with Bangladesh also. So these, because we share common boundaries, there are disputes bound to be there regarding territorial matters. They have agreed that such territorial disputes should not escalate. Should not escalate means they should not rise to a very high level. They should remain within control. So they should not escalate into armed confrontation. That means such disputes should not result into armed conflict with each other. In fact, such disputes should be resolved with mutual talks and negotiations. That is the agreement made among the member countries. Member states have also promised to uphold peace and neutrality. They will work for regional peace. They will be neutral in each other members' matters. They will not speak in matters and take a side of any particular country when the disputes arise between some other members of the same organization. So remain neutral and not biased. Then cooperation, that is also required, that all should mutually cooperate with each other to develop the whole region. Non-interference also. There should be respect for national difference. Every country has some differences. Okay, occupational pattern may be different. Their level of economic development may be different. Okay. their food habits, their way of life, culture, religion may be different. So because of these differences, there should not be any differences of behavior in the countries. So that means there should be regional autonomy given to the member countries. Despite being small region, it is a small region as compared to European Union. Despite being small region, it is the fastest growing economy compared to US or European Union or Japan's economy. If you see the economy of these three power blocks, then it is higher than that of the European Union. But despite this, the growth rate of ASEAN is much faster than all these power blocks. Then another thing is that the objective of ASEAN is to create a common market and common production base to promote development in this region. Okay. So commonly they will produce in a particular region in either of the countries to be shared, the product to be shared among the members. Okay. So and that way the market also will be common and the production facilities also will be common for all these countries of the region. They focused on free trade area, that means developing this region into a free trade area where their interstate trade or their inter-country trade is very free. There is no restriction, there is no high taxes, there is no limitation, no quota system. Freely goods can be traded among these countries. And this is also objected to have free flow of investment also, labor also and services also. That means a country may invest in another country freely. There should be facilities made available for such investors. Then there would be movement of labor for employment from one region to another wherever it is beneficial for both the countries. Mutual benefit is there. Then labor should be allowed to migrate to each other's country and take up occupation or job over there. Also services would be transferred. Okay. So we will give our services to our member countries. Every member will give services whatever it is specialized in. Every region is specialized in one type of service or the other. So very easily such services should be transferred and shared with each other. These are the way and the achievements of ASEAN, the way of working of ASEAN and its achievements. Hope you understood these topics. We will further move to other topics to understand these things in detail.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more.